Logan had already pulled the love letter from his pocket, reading it aloud as he advanced on Ethan. Ethan pretended to shrink, backing into the corner. "Relax, you're the hero today. I couldn't have lured Mia without you." Logan grinned, prying Ethan's hand open and slapping the letter into his palm. He turned, poured a glass of wine, and gulped it down. Derek and Nathan followed suit, grimacing at the bitter cheap wine. "Zhong Ming should be here in half an hour, right?" Logan shoved Nathan aside, pinning Ethan to the wall. "Be a good boy and scram when she arrives, or that disciplinary record stays with you forever. Would your uncle really expunge it?" Ethan feigned submission, heart racing at how smoothly it unfolded. No need for the excuses he rehearsed. "Sure, once Mia's mine, everything's." Logan's words slurred, eyelids heavy. The high-dose sleeping pills, accelerated by the vodka wine, were taking effect. Behind him, Derek, who drunk the most, collapsed onto a stool. When the trio woke, bound and gagged, dawn had broken. Ethan stood at the podium, chalk in hand, writing on the blackboard with sharp taps. "Sheen, you crazy! Where's Mia?" Their words muffled by cloth, they strained against their bonds, faces purpling with rage. "Ah, you're awake. Save your screams. No one hears you here." Ethan set down the chalk, picking up a claw hammer, pliers, and utility knife from the podium. He knelt beside the smallest of them, Nathan, and pointed to the blackboard. "See? Simple multiple-choice questions from our major. Even you might guess right. You always said so." Crack! The hammer slammed into Nathan's thigh, nearly knocking him out. "No shouting in class. I warned you." Nathan panted, cold sweat dripping. Okay, I'll answer." The first question, parallel circuit formula. A. I equals I1 plus I2 plus I3. B. I equals I1 times I2 times I3. C. I sad face I1 plus I2 plus I3, superscript 2. After agonizing seconds, Nathan chose C. "Idiot! It's A!" Ethan roared, grabbing Nathan's hair, the same way they'd forced him to watch porn. The utility knife gleamed as it neared Nathan's face. Logan and Derek struggled, but their bonds held. "Ethan, stop! This isn't funny." "Oh, I'm not joking." The blade flashed across Nathan's bridge of nose, severing his nose in one stroke. Nathan screamed, collapsing into a faint as blood poured. Ethan regagged him, turning to Derek, who'd wet himself in terror. Logan, now pale, shrank back, eyes pleading. "Your turn, Derek. This one's a bit harder." By the time he finished, Derek had lost 6 teeth. Logan his left eye, payback in kind, doubled. Calmly, Ethan lit the thick white candle he'd tested, and hours burned time. He climbed stacked chairs, threading a rope through the ceiling fan hook. One end held a 20-liter gas can from his father's junk car, the other tied to a bolted desk leg. Wax stripped, anchoring the candle at the rope's end. When the flame reached the rope, the gas would drench them, pooling toward the candle along the sloped floor. By the time the candle guttered, fire would erase every trace. "Time for my date with Mia." Ethan cradled the roses, glancing up at the gas can, then down at Logan's ashen face. He knew Logan would never give up on Mia. Couldn't let her be destroyed too. "Ethan, don't! We're sorry. Please!" Their screams followed him as he stepped into the morning light, smiling, flowers in hand. He changed shoes by the road, stride light, both heading toward a date and fleeing a nightmare. 8. March 23, 1999, 7:26 a.m. Ethan stood at the cafeteria entrance, bouquet in hand, his voice cracking as he shouted his love for Mia. Laughter erupted from the crowd. Since the attack, his voice had grown high-pitched, almost feminine, a mocking squeak that drew jeers. Mia's face flushed crimson. She hurled her lunchbox at him, scattering rose petals at his feet, and fled. Ethan smiled through the gesticulating heart aching but mind calm. What mattered was the alibi. When the old campus burned, he'd been here in plain sight. "Look! The old building's on fire! Smoke!" A classmate's cry turned heads. Across the campus, the fourth floor of the abandoned teaching building billowed black smoke, flames licking through broken windows. Only then did Ethan feel a twinge of sadness. He sank onto the rain-soaked concrete, watching Mia's silhouette vanish, and set the ruined flowers beside him. Students raced toward the fire. He stayed, staring at the empty path. Eventually, he rose and returned to the dorm, using Logan's lighter to burn the forged love letter in his textbook. Lying on his bottom bunk, he stared at the splintered bedboard, the silence, once longed for, now hollow. Sirens shattered the peace. Fire trucks first, then police cars. Ethan was right. By afternoon, he sat in the CID interrogation room, answering questions for 2 hours. With no physical evidence, they had to release him. By the time he stepped out, it was 11 p.m., campus gates locked. Wandering the deserted street, he spotted a payphone and dialed his mother's number, hand trembling. "Jean Shang, I just sent you money. We're asleep. Can't this wait till morning?" Her voice was a whisper, wary of waking her new family. "Mom, I want to come home." "Home? You are home with your father." "No, you're home. I want to be with you." He choked back a sob. His mother's tone turned urgent. "You're an adult now. Understand? This, my home, isn't yours anymore." Her words, barely audible, tore the last thread of hope. He smiled bitterly. "Goodbye, Mom." The click of the receiver was final. With less than 100 yuan left, all Logan hadn't stolen, he splurged on a KFC family bucket at a 24-hour joint. He devoured the food alone, savoring the first real meal in years. A family of one. The last time he'd eaten KFC, his parents were still together. Stepping into the night, he gazed at the starless sky, tears drying on his cheeks. Then he turned on his heel, marching back to the police station with purpose. The detective who'd questioned him earlier looked up, puzzled, as Ethan walked in. "Ethan? Why are you?" "I burned them. Logan, Derek, Nathan." Ethan's voice was steady now, a weight lifted. "I killed them." 9. A shot rang out on the outskirts, near overgrown foothills. The gaunt figure of Ethan Shaw fell forward, collapsing to the ground. Only his right hand twitched like it had been shocked, a final spasm before stillness. He'd left me a story. Its name? More than just evil. His methods weren't the most brutal among death row inmates. The real chill, the kind that numbs the soul, came from something else, the darkness in human hearts. What he owed, he paid with his life. But what about what was owed to him? The end,